Hey, everyone. It's your weekly corner Späti. It's almost the full gang here. We've got Nick.
Yo.
Rob.
Greetings.
And also Ciarán, this lovely voice that you're hearing right now. Yulia is back from Croatia, spreading Croatian coronavirus to Berlin.
You joke about this, but she's actually sick.
Oh, God damn it. So,
It's a very
welcome to the special
strain.
episode where we mourn Yulia.
Very rare.
Croatian coronavirus is just the same, except you hate Serbs now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, we are joined by Jean-Hugues, better known as Amazinggaijin, all the way from Paris. I said it the right way, you Philistines.
Yes.
I call him, based on his Twitter handle, as he calls himself, the Techno Hunter S. Thompson.
Oh, now it's Techno Emil Durkheim.
Oh, boo!
You have to tell me how the book is. I think it's really old and boring.
Yeah, I think it's boring as shit, too.
The sociology of suicide.
You guys read?
Oh, well, I just like the idea. I don't know if Hunter S. Thompson ever... I guess at some point he would have heard techno music, because he didn't die that long ago.
No,
I
think he died in the early 2000s, and Johnny Depp was friend with him, and he killed himself in a ranch. He blown his brain out in his ranch.
Yeah. Well, he wrote about it, right? I've always said it, and he's like, "Come on, this won't hurt," and he's like, "Pow."
So I just like the idea that, like,
sad.
he died in the early 2000s. He was friends with Johnny Depp, and you know Johnny Depp is the kind of person who, like, plays you techno songs from his phones, being like, check this out.
No, dude, Johnny Depp totally has, like, a horrible taste of music, and I think we all, like, know this. Like, secretly.
Yeah, it's like bad techno.
No. Johnny Depp's, like, really into, like, shit like Aerosmith and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, I see you're going.
Yeah. No, he's legitimately in a band with Joe Perry.
He does kind of look.
Yeah.
He does kind of look like a better
Sick.
looking version of Kid Rock.
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah. But Kid Rock probably has better music taste than Johnny Depp.
Excellent.
And so we've already been talking about our topic for today, Johnny Depp truthers. Why Amber Heard is lying and he is right. I literally had a woman talk to me about this for hours.
What?
In Munich.
Oh, yes, you mentioned this. Mention it for the audience, though, because this is insane.
But all I'm saying is she wants people to do their research, okay?
I'm just asking questions. Just look it up.
No, we're here to talk about the hottest new techno clubs in Berlin. Everything's reopening. The parties have started again. Coronavirus, just think of it as it's a fun new thing to add to the mix. You know, there's all kind of.
You just like slide the fader in, you know, slide a little bit of coronavirus.
Just a little bit of coronavirus, kind of spice up the night.
Deck A is like the hot new track. Deck B.
Exactly. And so,
no, back in the day, you used to have to pay at the door to get a virus. No, that's just
Well, you have to look like it's notoriously hard to get into Berlin clubs. And so now you have to look like you have coronavirus before they let you in. Like, you got to be wearing all black, maybe cough a little bit, but, you know, not too much because you don't want to look like you're trying too hard. Yeah. Just a very, like, dispassionate cough.
Cough, but, like, look like you don't care about coughing.
So
nonchalant cough that you possibly can.
So, Jean, we want to ask you, what are the hottest spots in Berlin right now to go out? I heard you've been checking out the reopening scene.
Yeah. So I've been not partying so much because I'm actually a germ freak, but
nice.
So
it's the little things that'll keep you alive in the brave new world.
It is the little things that will kill you. Yes.
So exactly. So the only time I think I actually partied it was when I was commissioned by resident advisor to talk about this Else open air, like the first legal one, because people used to like go to Heisenheide and, you know, super spread that Roni. And now the local government was like, oh yeah, we're trying, you know, to lower the curve, so let's do parties, but where we can actually track down how the virus spread. So there's this thing will happen at Elster, and yeah, if you want me to talk more about it, let me know.
Well, just describe the atmosphere for us, because to me it sounds like Berlin government. It's a little like the cool dad, where it's like, if you're gonna get coronavirus, I'd rather you do it in my house. I can check on you. You can cough on each other.
It's like okay, so like it's exactly this. So there's like, so the thing is like, you have like the cool dad saying like, okay, you guys can use open air thingy, but also the club have to like enforce and implement security measure in order for it to be as safe as it can be during a global pandemic. So I for example, you have like, you know, like in the supermarket, you have like those marker on the floor to tell you where you should stand, so you can social distance. So you had that like at the entrance of the club in order to queue socially distance. And when you get inside, the first thing that you see is like this huge like hand sanitizer. So like you can sanitize your hand, you know, like
It's like the holy water when you walk into mass.
Yeah. It's like the font at the front of a church. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, in all like seriousness, Berlin clubs needed that like years ago.
Exactly what I said in my article. I was like, I don't understand why we didn't have hand sanitizer and like soap in the bathroom, because soap in the bathroom wasn't like.
No, you didn't just like Berlin clubs didn't discover the racket that Irish clubs have, where there is a guy in the bathroom waiting to sell you soap and also like
no way.
spray.
That's like that's an American thing too.
Yeah.
No way.
I'm thinking though that then like maybe one of the security measures could be like, you know, the scene in Parasite where they're like like disinfecting the streets.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like gas, and then like the family like is like they just inhale it.
Uh-huh.
It's that like a club in Berlin is just going to be that like, all right.
Oh,
like,
that would be nice.
yeah, so
That
it's
would
like,
be actually nice.
I mean,
Yes, treat me like a poor Korean.
I
yeah,
mean, like maybe it fucks you up. Like no one. I mean, like I don't think that it would.
When the beat drops, they just like they spray all of it.
Yeah.
into the crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice
like
shower.
like the smoke machine, but with this. I don't know what is the substance. Well, I don't know what is gas. But yeah,
Disinfectant.
Foam parties are already a thing. Just
Yeah.
it's now soap.
Yeah.
like this
Way less
smoke machine.
chlamydia.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure how.
No,
it works.
yeah, because historically foam parties have always just been an excuse for guys to grab ass. It's not good.
Oh, fuck.
But Jean, I want to ask you, like, so I like to go out. I've been out sometimes in
I
Berlin
don't.
or Germany, but since coronavirus started, and I don't mean this in like a holier than thou way, I just think it's not going to be. It's fun. Like, if it were a lit party, I'd be like, all right, I'll go out.
Okay.
But it just sounds like there are these people going around making sure you don't get too close. You can't. You have to stand a certain amount apart. I imagine the lines are terrible because there are already 2-hour lines to get into clubs, and now it's less capacity.
So can I jump in as the person who does not like clubbing?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Can I jump in as the person who is kind of with Ciarán, but then also kind of not?
Yeah.
Okay,
So you're
okay.
halfway house. Okay, but so I'm weird. Like I paid for my college fees in Ireland by being a DJ, but I fucking hate clubs. So my main understanding of why anyone would go to a club is to find someone to fuck.
Yeah.
So if there's social, he agrees with me. He writes articles about it. But
That's what resident advisor does. It's
it's like
okay,
where to find people to fuck, and like but if there's social distancing,
Uh-huh.
how does this fucking work? What are you doing?
You break the rules.
That's cool.
There's like the theory and the practice, because like I was there, right? so when it was early, people were still being like really good person and being socially distanced. But like, I don't know, like 2 hours in, I got a girls behind me like stumbling on my Achilles heels, and I was like, oh, what the fuck, dude? Like, it's not even about the corona. It's like you literally stomping on my Achilles heels. It hurts, bro. So it's like,
I hate when I'm at the club and I get my Yeezy stepped on in Berlin.
exactly, fucking easy, like explosive, and like the more the party goes on, the more it's like will stay unsafe, and the more because the people have more fun because they're intoxicated. One of the aspects, of course, of clubbing is like the like the social aspect of it, meeting up people, as Ciarán said, like meeting someone to fuck. But it's also like about, I don't know, having a good time and like enjoying some good music. I love how like in Berlin the music is at the end, at the end of the thingy, and so as we go further into the night, the music gets louder later, and the people get drunker. So it's like we have like those. Okay, we have 2 people making sure that people are not fucking up with the social distancing and so on. But also, it's 2 people versus 300. So
I believe that this is called the Battle of Thermopylae.
Yeah. I watched that movie 300 with Greek people, and it was just so funny because they were like, at the end of it, they were like, we have more Spartans this time, and they're just like, yeah, we were told the story when we were kids. They lost there too. They lost again.
Yeah, it's funny you say that though, because Xerxes' Palace that is what the Berlin Club looks like. It's fucking lit. I feel like the hunchback guy going in, being like, I just want to party. Does anyone have drugs for me?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, as hedonistic as you possibly can be. Yeah, I mean, not wrong.
It's a collection of the world's hottest Persians.
Sorry?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Go on.
But okay, like trying to be as safe as you can possibly be, as like in a setting which is not made to be safe, especially like in a club in Berlin. Like I was thinking lately, like
on the edge a little bit.
Yeah, exactly, right. But like it's like the full example of living on the edge, and like it's like everything could kill you, like elsewhere it's like behind this construction site on the street, and everything is made out of wood, and like you have like those huge stairs and so on. Like if you stumble onto it, am I like getting into the stair or getting on the floor? So it's like, okay, we're trying to be as safe as possible in this setting, but there's still some effort made when it, like in the counterpart, like from videos and pictures I've seen about the club scene in Paris, there's no like effort made in that sense, because like you literally like put people in an open air setting still, but like you put people in a small space, and they are like 2,000 people, and they are like all like clocked with each other, and like they're sweating. Some people are like even like topless and so on, and nobody's wearing masks. So you have like this like two like imbalance where you have like the German way, yeah, let's put like some hand sanitizer in the front, like social distance. Let's wear all masks. And in Berlin, wearing like masks, it's just like business as usual, right?
So just to be clear, because we're speaking about it a little theoretically, a lot of people are getting coronavirus from going to techno clubs and open air raves in Berlin and in other countries.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
the median age of like person with coronavirus in Berlin went from old people to like 26 years old, like very quickly.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, I think like the main reason is like all those like illegal rave we've been happening way before that they officially opened the club, and so like it's like in this setting, like how can you even like do any safety? You like out in the open air. It's an illegal rave, so per definition there is no like real security or like rules or whatever. So I think this like really participated into like growing the numbers, and also like a funny thing is like people are still traveling. So like at this party, I met like a group of Spanish people. I met like one Londoner and like a group of friends. One was from London, which is a hotspot of COVID, and also by the way, Spain is a hotspot for COVID as well. And one from Amsterdam, which is also a huge hotspot for COVID. So I spoke with people who are literally traveling from like hotspot of COVID, coming into Berlin, going to the setup of like of a club setting where you are with 300 other people, and it's the
bumping and grinding.
Bumping
and grinding in the club. Yeah.
Grinding in the club. No, they weren't grinding, but like you know what I mean.
Come on, Ciarán.
It's been a while.
Ciarán, we're taking you to one of the techno clubs.
Ciarán knows about like the Berlin club scene. It's
I've just turned.
It's a room.
take
It's
you
a
out.
room primarily of white Germans, like
Exactly.
just moving back and forth.
Hey,
I will take you out, Ciarán.
It's gonna be deeply
I want
tragic.
to record it all.
Deeply tragic.
Okay.
Ciarán tries ketamine.
It will literally be me spending the entire 2 hours in the queue being like, how do I look 16? How do I look like a 16-year-old so they don't let me in? I'm there with my giant comical lollipop and boy shorts.
No, what you have to do is that you have to then follow like those like dumb douchey like club rules of like wearing nice shoes and like going like that. Then you won't get in.
I just think like Ciarán, if you were like a vlogger or something, like they always have those like the title would be like, I take ketamine. I take way too much ketamine at a Berlin club, and it's you with a face like, I just would love
It's
if,
like a
if I saw that,
37-minute
I would click
long
on it.
video.
Yeah.
I would click on it if I saw it. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I want to ask you about.
Oh, I just wanted to say like really quickly with that is that I don't want to like rat out my flatmates, but I'm gonna fucking do it anyway because
something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nick never does on social
Yeah.
media.
Are you
Never.
part of the Stasi?
Absolutely,
Dude,
no,
come
like,
on.
Like the thing.
Dude,
that got,
imagine
like,
if the Stasi were paying you to just rat out your people
I would.
going to techno
You know
clubs.
what? I if the Stasi's listening, I have no problem with East Germany. Really, please, get back together. I really liked your stuff. No, but the thing that I that really bugged me is that then my flatmates just like continuously ended up going to like what are they even? They're not raves. They're just like makeshift house parties and stuff like that. Or like, I guess they were like raves and whatnot. And I just was always continuously flabbergasted of like, we're still in a global pandemic.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
because you went to a house party doesn't change the fact that then like there is still a global pandemic going.
Is your
Yeah,
flatmate German?
Go on.
I'm gonna let you guess.
It is, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a really German attitude because it's like we like in Germany we had all this like respiratory device, even like they flew people from France like in order to use it. So like we prepared. Worst case scenario, I spent like a week at the hospital and then I'm back. Is this like the thing which happened like during the lockdown is like at first like people were a little bit respecting it, but then they went back to like spiraling into culture.
They were like, I can't go without my fucking Sonntagsspaziergang. I'm gonna fucking lose my shit if I can't go to the park and do nothing. Like,
eat ice cream mainly, really important.
No, I want to take the. I want to at this point. I want to ask you a more general question to talk about like the state of affairs in electronic music.
Tell me, yeah, sure.
Well, because the scene we're painting here is that like
That's my job.
I don't know, life goes on, or like the show must go on, and even if there's kind of this weird rules that people don't really follow, people are just pretending nothing's changed, and it seems to me that you could say that that's because of. That's maybe like a completely new development out of nowhere, that the coronavirus has ruined everything. But the impression I get is that the techno music scene has always been, is in a bit of a crisis anyway. And that a lot of the reasons that, I don't know, the show must go on no matter what, is because DJs don't have a way to make money, or clubs need to stay open because clubs are such an important part of the... like they become institutionalized and their source of tourism and money. I don't know. That's an open-ended question, but just start wherever you want there. What's wrong with techno now?
For sure. So the thing is like
it fucking sucks and it sounds like butt.
So the thing is the thing is pretty simple. So like clubs are really important in Berlin. They are like cultural institution. Berlin Club brought 1.5 billion in 2018. The EasyJet club techno tourist is like a huge source of income in Berlin, because Berlin don't have an industry, so there's no factory in Berlin. So like this is 1.5 billion in a city budget. It's a lot of money. Also, what's happening with the techno scene? It's like, as an electronic music producer, even in general, if you make music, so like you produce your sound and you want to sell it, or you're streaming on the online platform who doesn't pay anything, your main source of income will be playing out. Yeah. It's the only thing we will, like, if you're lucky, you get like a vinyl deal, you get like a bunch of nerds who buy your vinyl in multiple time. They have like 3 of your vinyl each at home, but it's rare. You have to be in a certain scene and so on. But your main source of income will be touring. So all those DJs producer, they nice balloon. All those DJ slash producer, they like, if like they're really small, they don't really have like saving or any source of income. So there's like a lot of e-busking happening. So like you busk on the web. So like you do a GoFundMe, you do a Patreon, and so on. So there's like 99.9% of the scene who is not working, but there is a small percentage, like in a small part of the scene who still pay out because they're like, fuck solidarity, because it comes from like a working class, like class conscious black people, like techno come from this in Detroit, but now it's totally whitewashed. So like you will have like this like little conventionally attractive Berlin DJ who will be like, okay, fuck solidarity. I don't even know what it means, because the way that I come in this scene is not about class consciousness or like fighting oppression. It's about my personal brand and me making money. So like whatever plague rave I can play in Paris or wherever, I will do it. Or even in Berlin, I will do it. So there's those people, but also there's like those people who get like 3K for a gig, who are part of like business techno, who are like getting flying into Tunisia, Croatia, or whatever to play like plague rave where like nobody dance, and they film like what the DJ, because like he's a superstar, is like a deity, and like And so there's this thing happening also. So like those people are still playing even though it's not safe at all. And they will defend their thing with the government said it's safe. Yeah, sure.
I remember seeing David Guetta end racism on a.
Oh yeah.
Oh fucking yeah!
Shout out
New
to
York
the
City.
families.
But it's funny, Jean, because you mentioned 2 hours ago, Nick sent a picture to the group chat of this laminated piece of paper that he found on the street that just says "Class doesn't exist."
Yeah.
And it was just someone put it up on a telephone pole or something.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have telephone poles here, but
It was a tree.
it was up on a tree.
Nature's telephone.
And I understand it's whatever right-wing talking point, but who would say that class doesn't exist? Because even the FDP, or they just think they're the fucking upper class, or they're a striving, hardworking middle class. And then I realized maybe it's the DJs who are putting up class doesn't exist. You got to hustle and play your play graves and stop talking about class.
There's this super famous DJ who wrote why is everybody mad? Just take a deep breath and reflect on yourself.
Why you mad, bro?
Why you mad, bro?
just chill out, man. Just listen to the music.
Well, yeah,
man.
because it's just
close your eyes.
Class doesn't exist, because if people keep insisting class exists, then I might have to examine the fact that my dad is a landlord, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, how did you move from fucking Hessen to Berlin to become a DJ?
With no income.
Yeah. No, I wonder how that happened.
Landlord is nice. It's like there is this scandal of this producer where her dad is a bank investment thingy, so he's some kind of Wall Street guy, and he's implicated into the coup in Venezuela. So landlord is it's nothing.
Oh, the improv cage.
Yeah.
Houseman. Yeah.
But there's tons
Does she have a techno connection?
No. It's not. I'm talking about someone
Improv
else.
is the techno of middle class white people.
Oh, that is sad.
But there's so many stories
really,
that. Yeah, go ahead.
The thing that really always kind of I found hilarious here, because I would argue that then obviously the Berlin techno scene is directly connected to the squatting scene and whatnot of the 90s. You can draw a line from there, obviously. And this romanticism of that is obviously still very much around.
Of course.
But who occupies then techno right now is literally just they did I may have mentioned this on the show before too, but they did and I hate quoting Vice, but still this was actually kind of funny, that they did they went on before election week to Badkind and asked around what people are voting for, people in line.
Yeah.
And it was overwhelmingly CDU.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. It's really the electronic music scene and techno in particular. It's really it's not even it's rich kids play. It's our school kids who've been into St. Martin's in London, and they spent 2 years in Berlin, and then they off for this day, and they just I don't know, they take the ketamine and totally brain freeze. So, but the problem now it's those kids, those persons, they have the responsibility of spreading a virus or no. They have
virus is called the bourgeoisie.
Yeah, they have this health hazard, this public health hazard thing in their hand, and they don't know how to think. So it's okay, good hand.
But why would you pick out do you see certain what are the specific reasons that techno got this way?
Oh yeah.
Or was it always like it? Was the scene always susceptible to a kind of whitewashing and financialization? Were there decisions that certain main players made?
Mm-hmm.
How did we get here?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's the past 5 years, So like 5 years ago, like I don't know if you remember, like techno was not such a big thing. Nobody cared about that. I remember like a girl told me she used to listen to techno, and I was like 12 years old, and I laughed into her face. And but like in the in the past 5 years, they were really like this effort of like whitewashing techno and investing in that, because like indie rock died down, extreme music in general kind of like down, so that we had to like have this like main counterculture where you can like percussion it, and like in the US case with EDM, and like build huge stadium where people gather around and spend their money, right? So you have like this really like huge effort to whitewash techno. So techno became something which was like interesting to be a part of, but not because of this political aspect of like, being a working class in Detroit, trying to escape dying down city, and trying to make art out of nothing, and doing all this Afrofuturistic stuff, but in order like to be cool, well, like cool, and like the definition of cool changed out. Like before you have to be like in a band, now you have to be a DJ and a producer or a DJ, and slowly you go. So like this phenomena always that the scene get younger. So you have like this new generation of DJ and producer who came, and they are really not aware about any issue of like racial erasure, like black erasure in techno, and racial erasure and racial tension, and like the fact, like for example, like all of the lineups these days are like headlining by white people, and they all like in festival it's only white people, when it's like music who come from literally working class people in Detroit, from Detroit. And like now, if you go to the English Wikipedia page, I think they say like techno is the word who originated in Germany. Like I think they even say Berlin or something. So it's like there's like this huge effort of really like rewriting the story of techno. So like now you have like, okay, now kids don't want to take a guitar and learn how to play Smoke on the Water. Now they want to learn how to produce music on Ableton. So it's like this. And this is what happened like in the past 5 or 10 years, and having like huge group who originally were in charge of like touring, like like metal band, like pop band, now cashing out on electronic music and on techno. So this was what happened like past 5 years. And this is how you have like this dynamic of whitewashing. It's like, for example, the way that women got squeezed out of tech, like because like computer science was originally something that women did, but when it started making money, they got squeezed out. Same thing for healthcare. It was originally something that women did, and then when there is money out of it, you have white male squeezing out minority or women, and trying to and taking the money and stuff. So it's like, yeah, it's a classic phenomenon. It could have been like any other subculture, right? But it's techno. And there's all this, as you said, this like, I would say like this romanticism about, Berlin, the wall, blah blah blah, it shut down. So we had all this space, and then we were able to throw this party, and we we were radical, blah blah blah. But it's all bullshit.
Yeah, I think it fits like perfectly too within the sense of like, I mean, I don't know who the overlords who plan like trends are or like how they come about, but there was like a direct correlation between that and the like rebirth of like the weird like cyberpunk phenomenon that we have currently right now with fashion. Where, like Balenciaga was like the most like the biggest designer of like the last like not anymore, not this year, but like the last I would say 2-3 years, like Balenciaga dominated like every single trend by just being so deeply ironic in their like interpretation of cyberpunk. And I think that then within that also came then an appeal from younger people into music that then is also kind of like the complete opposite then of what was popular beforehand as like subculture stuff. Like complexity was something that then was seen as like, you mentioned like the indie or metal scene where like, songwriting or, I know like, cause I was in the metal scene and like the complexity of your music was like a big deal and this and that. And that. And for
the technicality.
Yeah. And for techno, it's like, you strip everything back away, which then, in the sense of that then being something that then's one extremely easily marketable. That then appears as then being a subculture because it used to be a subculture, and then repackaging that then within the sense of this, very in your face, very mainstream, high fashion that then is trying to pretend that it isn't high fashion. I mean, and even like, I mean, look at them like the styling. I mean, for people who care about fashion, there's like, look at like what like Kanye West did with fashion, like that's the mainstream. Like you're not interesting because you like Balenciaga or Yeezys or any of this other like goth techno cyberpunk shit. Like that's
a good example.
Like, that's just genuinely
because like Kanye West literally put out a techno album when he did Yeezys, and he flied out all this like electronic music producer from Paris in LA, and he was like, "Okay, make me," I can't.
I guess I have to reiterate that because it isn't in the sense that then like the like this dark style is then something that then isn't like transgressive, like I guess like in a subculture in its own way because there is then simultaneously like out of that there's also then like a really big like like goth and emo rap thing that's actually underground, like as much as in like okay, like Lil Peep was big or not. Like, look at how many like rap groups are like diverting from like taking then elements of that, but then like making it still like this like underground sort of thing. Where like techno isn't doing that. Techno is taking this imagery, but then still just being really mainstream about it. And I mean, like everyone you meet in this city is into techno. Like, where 3 years ago they were probably into like, I don't know, fucking like Mumford and Sons or some shit.
For sure. That's the thing. It's like you have people who discovered electronic music or techno 3 years ago who are now like in place of being a gatekeeper of this culture or like super like super anal about it and be like, oh yeah, if it doesn't sound like it's not like techno, and they have all this like kind of like because like now techno is not innovating anymore. There's like some producer who are innovating, but who will be not called techno in a classical sense of it. There's a lot of electronic music going on, where it's not like so 4-4 based. And I come more from this background of like this kind of UK sound. We mix music from like the African diaspora, the Jamaican diaspora, and so on. So you don't have this structure on 4-4, but like those people will be like, okay, yeah, this is a techno track, this is not a techno track, and you have to mix on vinyl, and you have to do this, you have to, a lot of rules would just like pigeonhole this music and don't make it move forward. And you reach a point where like the music was more forward thinking in the 80s, and now it's just like a pastiche of what happened in the 80s and the Free of Belleville and what Jeff Miles was doing and so on. So it's like it's really, as you said, it's like with the metal scene, it's what happened with like, I don't know, like with like Hot Topic and all this stuff. You have to like you have to take this
I
subculture.
was born, yes.
Yeah, you have to take this subculture and like make it appeal to like all the teens, and then they go to the mall and they buy the look,
Buy
right?
so much Invader Zim shit.
Wait, John, I just wanted to ask quickly. You mentioned like people who just discovered a new subculture immediately becoming gatekeepers of that subculture. And I wanted to clarify if you're talking about techno or left Twitter. Just I was a little like
Both. It's both.
I don't like this. This is no, because like it is interesting because this is something you see like over and over and over and over and over. Because like, so when I was young and I was like doing electronic music, it was the big thing was like Flying Lotus, the like laptop beats kind of stuff that was happening around that time, and just before that, I remember distinctly, like mid 2000s, everyone, particularly in Ireland, like, and I'm sure this happened elsewhere, but like everyone was convinced that house music was invented by Justice.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
the two guys,
No, it was
completely,
huge. 2007, right? Am I right?
2007,
Are we stitching on how old we are?
yes, we are. But like that, even back then, I was like, yeah, I like some of their songs, but like House is really old.
But
and it's like
I have
from
a funny
Chicago.
story about that. That's really interesting because like the way like it's the same thing with Daft Punk, right? So basically Daft Punk is just a ripoff of like Chicago house music, right? But me as a French person, that's how I discovered house. I discovered house through Daft Punk, and I discovered other kind of music through Justice, not gonna lie. And I discovered like another part of electronic music through Boys Noise. And so, but at the end of the day, when you took it off, when you look at it, just like a ripoff of house music. And like even like Daft Punk, they have a song where they like shout out all the people they ripped off. I think it's Teacher, and they're like DJ Slogo, DJ something, and they all like they say everything. So it's like you have those trends and this like kind of whitewashing, like it's like erasure of culture, because like how the fuck I discover a house with Daft Punk? That's ridiculous.
I think the issue is more like because naturally enough, musicians always like have their inspiration. This happens in any art form. But the issue is when like Daft Punk are the ones who become famous, and then like all the black and gay people who made the house scene in Chicago happen are just like kind of ignored.
Yeah, they did like what happened with Daft Punk. They did like an album. I think it's Discovery, and they like heavy sampled Chicago house. No, like only one person got paid, and also, which is really disgusting with Daft Punk, is like Thomas Bangalter dad is also like heavily into like ripping off black music or exploiting black people, because he's been producing Zouk, which is like French Caribbean black music, and he's been like a producer for this kind of thing. So he had like so what he was doing was like producing a band called La Compagnie Créole, and he was producing also like some black artists from the US that afterward his son sampled and didn't pay. So it's like generation. That's how you build generational wealth.
Absolutely.
I want to. So I've never been to Detroit, but I lived in Chicago for a while, and even though I wasn't fully aware of like what house and techno. Like I'm like, okay, it's like this old like I probably thought it was like computer music or something.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
remember thinking like, I want to go check out like, oh, if this was born here, I want to go like see the sites, like where the building, you know, I mean, I'm just curious. And if you walk around the city, not only is there like no plaque, no like spot or like commemorating where the warehouse was, you know, that's maybe apocryphally, however you say that word, warehouse got its name from. There's not only is the building gone, there's no plaque, there's nothing. I think that even the street has been changed. So like it's just like demolished the like physical landscape of where this happened. And so the question to bring it back a little bit to like the act of the rave or the party. And it's like, so the subculture exists and a culture is always like borrow and mutate and whatever, but how does the like having a spot to play, like how does that fit into this? Because a lot of the DJs came to Europe, right? And played at these kind of squat parties and stuff like that. And like, what's the difference between, because Chicago to me seems different than like, we're talking about Berlin whitewashing, but Chicago was like actively like repressing it.
Yeah.
I mean, in the social form, because it's a super segregated city and a very racist city, especially back then. But like,
I saw the peak where they leveraged the bridge so black people can't protest into the downtown. That's so fucked up.
That was a real
even apartheid South Africa didn't have that.
Some people might not know this. In 1979, there was something called Disco Demolition Night or Disco Demolition Derby. Do you guys know about this?
Yeah, I heard about that.
And it was like literally all these people filled almost entirely like white Chicagoans. They filled the baseball stadium, Comiskey Park, and it was organized by like a rock DJ or something. And they just went there and just smashed disco records because they're like, fuck disco, we're just gonna break it all. And it's just this like carnivalesque, talk about a rave. It's like a carnivalesque scene of like destruction and like, you know, I don't know. So you have that on one end and you have Berlin on the other end. And so where is like this scene and raves and the culture, where is it supposed to flourish? How does it operate between these poles?
Yeah, so it's interesting. Like yesterday, I was watching a video from Onson Festival, and they were the owner of Trezor, Dimitri something, this old German guy that they always invite everywhere about Berlin club culture. And it's like, the wall, blah, blah, blah. So he said, like, part of the money that he made out of Trezor, he built a school of music in Detroit. So that's good for him, good move. So you have this thing also going on. You have this exchange, but also how you're talking about a more like urbanism question about how did it flourish. So there's two things. There's one thing. There's like this particular really American thing of hating history and being ahistorical. So like, and on top of racism, right? So like, you have this intersection of like, we don't give a fuck about history. Like it happened. We're not gonna put a plaque of it. You know, you will have like a plaque in Berlin about whatever, or in France about whatever, about something who happened like 30 years ago or 20 years ago. Yeah. But in the US, I guess it's not that much, especially for club culture and especially for culture who was made by LGBTQ plus people and black people. So they're not going to put a plaque for this. And so you have this.
It should have been Confederate generals.
That's what they want to put. They put a monument about this guy who like was a sniper in Iraq during like the last.
Chris Kyle.
Does he have a statue?
The fucking Chris Kyle monument. Oh, that thing's fucking wacky.
Yeah.
It's like a 9-foot tall Chris Kyle monument.
Damn.
Here's the 9-foot tall Chris Kyle monument. He was a sniper in Iraq, and also he invented house music.
Yeah. No, I don't think.
And Chris Kyle intended to be very racist.
So so this is you see this is where they invest the plaque budget. But so there's this thing going on, but also what you need to think, it's like rave culture is something which come out of like a counterculture against like the bottle service club, and also like they build they do events where they can do, and it's like a whole other ethos. I've been to some of those raves, really dangerous, not safe, will not recommend it. But this is a total different scene from what's going on. Like what's going on with the techno scene in Berlin have nothing to do with the rave scene. And I don't think there is even rave in Berlin. There's like this kind of, open air, okay, illegal open air, but a rave is like, it's something else. It's like you are in an info line, so you only get the information through text, and you get them last minute, and they don't send you the locations. They tell you step by step how you get there, and then you get there, and it's like usually like it will be like old bunker or something like weird and dangerous like that, where everything is falling apart, and you get there, and like people have like this kind of like, I don't want to go fully hippie here, but like they have like this like ethos of like being nice to each other, but also because you have to, because the fucking location is dangerous. So like I don't know, if somebody is falling and you don't pay attention, you have like somebody dead in your event, So it's like really like looking out for each other and so on and all that hippie bullshit. But like what's happening in the techno scene in Berlin is more like, I will say like, it's more like two things. It's like either like, okay, we were, before COVID, it was like, we are against Berlin club culture, which is really weird to be against of, because you have a lot of liberty inside. So we want to do like something who looks like, it's like a LARPing into like rave culture from the 80s in the UK with like the Spiral Tribe and blah blah blah. And okay, we're gonna LARP on that, and we're gonna do this, or there's like the club, the main club and the open air thingy. This is like the two culture in Berlin. Now with COVID, what happened? It's like people. Berlin is the capital city of fetish and of hedonism and of drugs and everything. So like you put those people into quarantine and they have nothing else to do. They can fuck, they can have drugs, they can have nothing. They go nuts. So what happened is like when the quarantine kind of like was like taking a little bit of too long, they started throwing their own party in Eisenheim all next to Tempelhof and blah blah blah. I don't want to snitch. I'm not part of Stasi, but that's what
I'll gladly do
happening.
It for you.
What you said?
I will gladly do it for you. I see these parties as nothing as an extension of bourgeois capitalism and individualism, and it must be stopped.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a sense of entitlement. It's like, okay, everybody else is stuck inside, but me personally, I don't believe in this
I will
bullshit.
snitch on them. I do not care.
We're all CDU voters as well.
So yeah, this is what happened.
It's the old East German CDU.
Exactly. Yes.
Something
But yeah,
about
there's
it, I don't know.
this
It still doesn't square.
strong sense of entitlement. It's like, why? Why am I inside? I'm young. I'm not gonna get sick. I don't give a fuck about old people. Anyways, there is no old people in Berlin, so I do whatever I want.
I mean, I guess you could just say that the entitlement is like, I don't know, with like in 2020 in the world, especially like, I don't know, whatever you're talking, if people don't feel political, people don't feel
Exactly,
as any kind of other organization. All that's left over is just your own personal entitlement, whatever you have.
You know, what are you going to start fucking quoting Fukuyama now?
You hustle.
Over? Like,
Fuck
come
you.
on.
The point of the
Fuck
grind is so
Fukuyama.
that you can get entitlement. It seems like. I mean, that's the way. That's what I don't know. It's very sad to me.
But okay, let's
Do I
let's
need to
go back
snitch on
on
you?
let's go back on Fukuyama like just 1 second. You have this
Please.
thing of like okay, like
Oh, no.
you have this shit of like okay, the history is
Invented
over.
house music.
It's over. The history is over. The fall came down. Blah blah blah. And sometimes it feels like that, feeling because when people have no sense of like what is it being aware of like people who are less like fortunate than you, who might be immunocompressed, who might be older than you, so they are more fragile to the shit, and people are like, what? I don't know. It's like, doesn't touch me, doesn't hear me, I'm just here to party.
Yeah.
The history is definitely over because it's like no political engagement, no nothing. There's no like moving forward. It's just like this like kind of bubble of hedonism and basta.
Berlin is like the perfect Fukuyamaist city if you're young.
Yeah.
Because it is exactly just that of like you can pretend that the 90s are still happening.
Yeah.
You like they
The dream of the
internalize this
90s.
really stupid reactionary thing of like Berlin is like I'm aber sexy,
Yeah.
which was said by a member of the FDP. Like,
Oh, fuck.
Guido Westerwelle was the one who
it?
said that. Yes.
Ah.
So
It's also offensive. His name's Guido when he's German.
yeah, fucking, that's a whole other topic. But yeah, no, I mean, so like the idea then of like Berlin being this like place where you can just like embrace this like poor but sexy culture, which is Berlin's just poor. Like Berlin's the poorest large city in Germany.
Yeah.
Has an extremely high unemployment rate for Germany.
It loses
And
money.
yet for people who are wealthy or well off or come from decent backgrounds, like that's never a reality you have to like come and face. You can live that the 90s are still happening now for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that you can live this hedonistic culture of history has ended because Berlin for you is a playground, and then when you're done with it, then you'll move back to London or you'll move back to wherever the fuck you're from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the reality is that Berlin, like, okay, one, then the sense of like where Berlin's club culture does come from is, from I would say, I hate to use the word gritty, but whatever, it has like, radical working class or, radical anarchist background, I guess you could like, say more specifically. And you can like educate yourself about it and like just, pretend that you care, but in the end, it's just because you want to do ket on weekends.
They don't give a fuck. They don't even pretend to care. It's like it's at a level of like, they just fly here from wherever they came from, and they like
London.
Stuttgart.
they do Stuttgart. They work in their startup jobs, and then in the weekend they get fucked, and that's it. And
Everyone they know is either a DJ or an artist,
Yeah.
like who are also quite well off.
But
Yeah.
the real people of Berlin are all podcasters.
Hell yeah.
exactly.
Okay, I gotta jump in with a little. I don't know. I gotta be a care lord or something because So when I first when I first really like thought, oh, techno's that like when it clicked for me. Drugs may have been involved, but like I was just like, what I really appreciated about it, especially learning about the history, because like you can say, oh, it comes from like the black working class in Detroit and Chicago and the gay scene and all these parties. But what really clicked for me is the fact that, especially in Detroit, and I think I don't know who exactly, but like the members of Underground Resistance, that's the name of the trio, right? Like they would even say that like our fathers were like worked in the car factories, and there's just this like rhythm or this atmosphere of this like futuristic like the future is fucking bearing down on you, these giant machines, like you're just this little cog in this process, and like there's a kind of rhythm to that like whatever you pull your lever, you assemble the car, whatever your role in it is. And something about techno to me is, and I mean this is like
Germany's like take on electronic music in the 70s is also exactly that.
True.
Yeah.
Like Kraftwerk is because of modernization and industrialization.
And just the idea, like what purpose can art serve under capitalism? It's like even though it is just cultural or just aesthetic, it is you recapture this modernism or technology or like this thing that seems alien to you, the fucking means of production that you're just a wage laborer next to. You can reclaim it for yourself, and you fucking produce this, and it turns into art. And I thought that was a very beautiful thing, and I still believe in it.
You're right.
But it's funny. It's not a coincidence that it's the end of history, that all these machinic noises that was the future, it's abstracted. It's just abstract noise instead of something that arrived at like a historically specific point in time.
Just dial-up noises.
That's the thing. No, you're right. That's the thing. This is why,
exactly.
This is why like Berlin is like a huge techno epicenter and was like part of the exchange that was made with Detroit, because it's almost the same condition. It's just like Berlin is a mainly white city, so it's like the condition of like the white working class. But then you have like in Detroit was the black working class, and this is where there is this kind of like, I don't know, like this blur line on like who invented techno, which is not really blurry because the oral story is pretty clear, and it was the Belleville Tree and blah blah blah. And there's like this author called DeForrest Brown Jr. and I really like that you talk about the aspect of like, okay, the underground resistance was talking about how their parents were a factory worker. DeForrest Brown Jr. is writing a book, will be out in May 25, about assembling a black counterculture. And it's exactly about that. It's about how coming from like working in factory, being alienated by the machine, by capitalism and so on, you create a counterculture, you create a sound. And that's really important. And I wish everyone listening to this will check out this book.
Yeah, we'll have it in the show notes.
It does sound really good, but unfortunately, all of this is making me think about the idea of the German techno scene starting in Wolfsburg, like where the Volkswagen factory is. And it's just
why not?
It's just like a Berlin nightclub, except like halfway through, everyone gets gassed with Knox because one of them is one of the Volkswagen leakers.
How do I take the sounds of a car being set on fire and a gunshot to the back of the head? How do I mix that into my art?
That's fucked up. But yeah, I think you wanted to talk also about the relationship between the local government and the techno scene as well.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
please.
So like,
I mean, what does it mean?
So like, it's pretty simple. In Berlin there's like more than 200 clubs, which will not be still the case next year. Probably half of the club will be shut down. So what happened is all the clubs gathered to have like one voice through the club commission, which is a lobby for clubs who communicate with the local government and make, like, for example, possible the fact that clubs in Berlin got like a 1 million check to like isolate their venue and so on. So it's like a dialogue between the club owners who are incarnated into the club commission, which is the office is just upstairs Kit Kat for the anecdote, and and they so like they talk to local government, make sure like basically make sure that they don't get shut down, and also make the politician understand how important clubs are in like Berlin landscape, in a city who have no industry, not really have a tourism industry. It's not like the 10 tourism watching the Berlin Wall who gonna make money, So it's like, once again, Berlin clubs brought 1.5 billion in 2018. So it's like it's a huge industry, and this is not also the open airs. Really funny, the open airs. The Berlin Club Commission set up a set of rules that people throwing illegal open air have to follow to be COVID friendly, as we say these days. So having like this disinfectant, taking care of trash, making sure that everybody wears masks, and also there's an initiative now from the Senate for like Berlin clubs to look into the area where there's like garden or whatever to throw open air. So now there's a huge initiative for people to look for space where they can throw open air before like the Berlin winter hits, right? So yeah, this is like the relationship between the local government and the club.
Yeah. Michael Müller is the new father of techno.
Yeah.
He's deciding the future.
Yeah, he is.
Who is this guy? I don't know
that-
nothing about Berlin politics.
Yeah. I mean, it really is.
I heard recently that he invented house music.
it really kind of is like the perfect example of like, I mean, I know that then I hate using this word on the show, but like this is like the perfect neoliberal relation of state and capital. Like obviously, like techno, something that like had its legitimate roots. Obviously, then the state's going to come in and preserve it because it's making how many? Like what? What'd you say?
1.5 billion.
Yeah. 1.5 billion euros for a local like city economy, or I guess city state technically for Berlin.
Yeah.
So obviously they're not going to let the clubs go under, even though obviously through market forces, in quotes, every single club in Berlin would be, after the second week of COVID, would have had to close down because they couldn't pay their rent.
But they've had. There's been points in the Berlin government's history where they've tried to shut down the clubs. Like,
of course,
I think it was like mid-90s.
Yeah. But then the club started being subsidized by like Berlin for tourism because in like the
because
late
they realized it was a stupid
2000s,
idea
they
to get rid of
realized it
them.
was incredibly profitable.
Yeah.
You know?
I love when the counterculture is like, the cornerstone of the state economy.
Yeah.
And I mean,
but it's only possible
it's
because Berlin have no industry, right?
Yeah.
If
But I think
Berlin
what
had
you're saying-
industry, they will not give a single fuck about clubs.
Of course, coronavirus has this particular, because it's most directly affects large gatherings.
Yeah.
It obviously has a direct effect on, raves, clubs, techno culture. But I think in another way, in the sense that techno raves, I mean, they also provide a kind of, I don't know what you want to call it. Yeah, like the act, like the party itself is kind of, to be express yourself or maybe be a little different outside society, a bit of rebellion, counterculture. Even that.
I can only now think about Zizek talking about the techno scene.
Send me the link.
But even if you have that, like the coronavirus, like we were saying with the entitlement, with the like, you can only think about it in terms of. I mean, we know all the debates from the U.S. Like it's either like, I'm a good person because I scream at service workers to wear masks, or all the pedophiles want me to wear masks, so I'm not going to. I'm going to post a photo of myself. Like it all becomes about yourself, and it seems in the same way the rave or the club in Berlin for so many people just becomes, I need to go get zooted up, get on the weekend. I'm tired of doing it in my living room.
But it's a mental health issue for sure.
It is me, 5 of my best friends, and so much ketamine that I will never come out of this K-hole until coronavirus is officially over. I want to experience the true sense of hedonistic Berlin club culture.
But do you guys know what I mean? Because like nothing can be understood. Everything is understood in that specific. How does it affect me? Because we're all atomized. And the form of the rave is supposed to be the thing that fucking brings you all together.
Yeah.
Like, if that was the countercultural, they were protesting against that atomization 30, 40 years ago.
Bump and grind with your fellow man.
And so on and so on.
And so on and so on.
I think like this way also like Berlin do relatively good with COVID. I don't know about the number now. What are they?
Oh no, we're still pretty good here.
Okay,
It's dropping, So we went back to
dropping?
green. I think yesterday was like 77 new
Congratulations,
cases in the
everybody.
whole city.
did.
because like it's a really atomized city. It's like we social distance all the time. Like I never been in a city where I eat so much alone in the restaurant, and I find it like normal, and I find it normal.
It's called depression. It's called depression. It's like a normal thing that onset when you move here.
Yeah, it's like because like in Paris, if I eat alone at a restaurant, somebody will like the waitress will ask me, "Are you waiting for someone?" Because it's not.
You don't want that to happen. That hurts. That hurts so much.
because like in French culture, you can't eat alone. You can't eat alone at a restaurant. It doesn't exist. So like I guess this is why like we used to do so good in Berlin with COVID is because the city is so atomized. It's really like everyone to himself and so on. But this is why also what fucks up people a lot with the quarantine thingy, because you have like double social distancing, and then people wanna party again and like see people again. You know? So it's like a mental health issue at this level.
Yeah, the double social distancing is like when you're doing like 2 negatives equals a positive. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take this moment, since we're talking about gatherings in public, to ask you all.
Gathering of Juggalos, yes.
If you have any comments on another, like I said, in the same way that the disco demolition.
Yes, they are.
In the way the disco demolition
I am down to clown until I am dead in the ground.
Was its own kind of rave. I think that in some way, the Corona Leugner demo was like a rave for them.
Yeah.
Like in the same.
Storming the
that's what fucks me up, man. Because like we said, okay, like these people. This form of like a party exists to like break people down, and you can be together, and like, you know what I mean? And if all that is just getting zooted individually, the only people who truly have raves in the sense that they might still not trust each other, but at least they're all flying the same fucking QAnon flag, are the Corona Leugner. They get together and they're like, they have this communal feeling. That's what scares me most about it. I mean, running in front of the Bundestag, whatever, like it's that feeling of like, damn, they're the only ones really living. They're the only inspired ones. That's what fucks me up.
Rave.
True.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you have any comments on it? I thought
I will let
right
you guys speak a bit, and then I will jump on it.
So we didn't have a chance to talk about it, but it was a big deal here.
About the Corona Leugner?
Yeah. The anti-quarantine, the Corona deniers. They had a big demo.
I'm so glad that I can finally have a chance to talk about this, because I loved the American reaction of this, of like, oh, can you believe that there are like Nazis and hippies getting together? And I don't think people like realize. Okay, first off, before we even go like, you know, modern like neo-Nazi hippies bullshit, like the Nazis were into esoteric bullshit and legitimately had a worldview of a conspiracy theory. Like they are not smart. They're not some fucking like gifted whatever, you know, bullshit they are. Like you literally base an entire worldview on the fact that like the Jews are like the Illuminati, and that then magically intertwined with that is that then that the Aryans are from space and that they like are better than everyone.
The amount of Nazis that were just lost in the Tibetan mountains finding the first German is basically just a huge list.
Yeah, no. It is. Yeah, they were fucking stupid. They were already like the majority of them. Like the people of the upper echelon of the SS were all into fucking like ruins and dumb lame shit like that. Like this is heavily like, you know, intertwined.
But good people were trying to stay indoors, not trying to catch the Spanish flu.
It's like
fucking goose.
We always forget about this esoteric aspect of like the Nazi theory and the Nazi regime. They were fucking like German hippie in that sense of like they were into like this historical thingy called the Thule sect, where they were all involved in, and they were like, thinking like German were from this weird mountain and whatever and all that shit. So it's like,
some people legitimately thought they were from space. Like that's my favorite fucking
so it's like
Aryan conspiracy theory is that they're a complete different race of people.
It's not
I got 17% Uranus on my 23andMe.
Right.
Yeah, and so like, but then to the sense of like with you know the Corona demonstration the other day about then how Americans just realized that they never actually went away.
Yeah.
There is very much continuously been a tradition
Yeah.
of neo-Nazi conspiracy theories just like piggybacking on esoteric stuff because it was founded on it practically.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say this because it's something we've talked about on the show before, but like Germany being like successful is almost, it's like, it's not very explicitly acknowledged, but it's like it's a cornerstone of like the liberal democratic myth in the US, in the UK, in so many countries. They're like, well, Germany dealt with their past. They have a good, competent government. Like all of these myths are like fundamental. I don't know about in France, but like in the US for sure, even if you don't know much about Germany, they're like, oh, well, that's a hope that, you know, they can do it better. They took care of business and we...
in
that it's
France
possible,
it's
you know?
more like, oh, Germans know how to follow rules. And they're efficient. And this, there's like this kind of like aftertaste of like they're efficient and they know how to follow rules because they're all Nazis. You know, there's like really this aftertaste and like this background of it. Oh yeah, that's the only way I can explain it. So like being like all obsessed by efficiency, like.
It definitely comes up in the UK a lot amongst like the anti-colonial kind of crowd of being like Germany dealt with their horrific past.
Oh yeah,
UK hasn't.
this too. There's aspect also which is a total lie, right? We all know this, right?
Yeah.
They don't deal with their past. Like obviously to have like all this Corona Leugner demo, which it's not even the first one, you know? How many were there?
No, it's
You
been
were
going on
in
for
one,
months.
Rob. You did a fucking Twitter
I know, right? I
live.
gotta go to the next one.
Trying to
You've been
catch
slipping,
that
man.
Rooney, right?
Yeah, it's an excuse to get really like covered up, and then it's very clear you're not with them. That's one nice thing.
No, but that,
I'll get you one of those did you play Red Alert 2?
No.
I'll get you one of the there's like the flat commandos that have these like really badass suits that have like massive hammer and sickles on them.
Yeah.
And they're like metal and they're really sick.
I was gonna roll around in one of those bubbles that you pay like it's one of those like experience things.
Oh, you
So
can do
you're
that
like,
too. That would be
Yeah.
also
Fuck.
cool.
Well,
They try to punch me and stuff.
yeah, they used to have that in festival, but also what I like really what I noticed is like the use of the imperial flag. It's literally like, we can't use the swastika, so we're gonna use the imperial flag. Which, like, Imperial Germany, which is, like, the Nazi regime is literally based on Imperial Germany, so it's, like, literally the same thing, but there's no legal implication of this, so we're gonna use that one.
But
Yeah, exactly. Anyone who talks about the Third Reich, ask them what the one before that was. Like, they call it the third one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
We could all sit around here and say current Germany is not good. But if you go back at any point, it's also just not good.
No, it's
Can we
like,
just say that Germany is just canceled, like as
there we go.
infinitely
Germany's
canceled?
Brush my hands off
it's just like
theatrically.
it's just a project to, like, kill people and hoard on wealth and, like, hoard on, like, natural resources from other
Exactly,
countries.
Germany. Just
that's the
welcome
that's
to
the
the
whole
anti-Deutsch hour.
That's the whole
I've
project,
been thinking
right?
about this actually.
It's that's all of Europe, baby.
But Nick, I was thinking about
that's
this.
all
You guys,
of Europe, but like
Yeah.
the one who succeeded like 2 times in Germany.
I want to always have something productive out of an episode. So I don't know if you guys know, there's like this very online kind of cranky people who started a hashtag normal Marxism because they're like, it's not about not clapping, it's about whatever. I don't have much to say about that, whatever. But I do want to start hashtag normal anti-Deutschism. All right, we're taking it back.
Normalize.
Enough with the Israel
Normalizing
shit.
onto this?
Stop saying like, do it again, Daddy George W. Bush. Cut that shit out. We're hating Germany like normal people.
Yeah, you just hate
Okay.
it. Simple, done.
So how do we
Stop
do
with
that?
the other stuff.
It's done. It's done. You just hate
It's
Germany.
an uphill battle. We're not gonna lie.
I don't
It's
have
a struggle. The struggle is
Hashtag
real.
get it trending.
Yeah, there's no elaborate thing of like the order of which nations have to end. No, it's just that Germany sucks. It's just looking Germany in the eye and be like, I hate you. And that's normal. That's a normal
jump.
emotion. Everyone
We're
should have
talking,
that emotion.
we're talking about anti-church, so I want to jump into like this slogan thrown by an anti-church club, because in Berlin we have an anti-church club.
Oh yes.
So
We're talking about blank.
and they have a party called Hate Germany, Love Tech.
But then like a little asterisk that also says love Israel.
Exactly.
Like,
a little. It's deep.
join.
though.
It's like a fucking like it's a fundraiser to fucking join the IDF. That's the club that has the IDF recruitment things, like, right?
I think that was the one in Leipzig.
Okay.
But they they really.
All right.
Oh yeah, the one.
They are very pro-Israel.
And I used to live next to it, so it's really funny for me. And like one time they had like an advertisement for the Bundeswehr just like next to them, and they shut it down so quickly. It was so funny. I think I posted it on Twitter.
Choose your side.
Which way, Western man?
Yeah.
Which way?
We haven't even talked about how Israel uses techno and electronic music as like a legitimizing cultural.
Oh god, yeah, we.
Oh, can I talk about Eurovision?
That's a whole nother episode.
We have no time for
another
that.
episode.
So you have to
Main
talk-
cultural export is topless men from Tel Aviv.
You have to talk about trance.
Yeah, true.
Trance is really used in Israel, and they have like huge scene of like producer.
Yeah, the number one DJ is Yair Netanyahu.
What?
The number one DJ is Yair Netanyahu.
Oh my! Is he?
I
Is
believe
he?
that.
Is he? I believe
I
you.
don't know. You gotta
I believe
look that up.
whatever. Send me the SoundCloud.
Yeah, his name is Young Apartheid.
Oh God.
Oh,
like-
I can believe this with like Junior Bolsonaro being a Twitch streamer. Like, it's all very real.
Isn't his other son like a gun YouTuber?
Yeah.
Oh, so cool.
Brazilian dream.
Yeah, they could live in my dream.
And they all like they go to Goa after the military service to take shroom, LSD, and then some psytrance. And sometimes they deflect
Beautiful.
there even. Good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I guess. Do we have any final thoughts? Jean, we could ask you, what's the future of techno?
Hate Germany, and also be questionable about techno.
What's
for
coming
sure,
next?
for
Anything
sure.
you want to?
What's coming next?
you want to say?
What's coming next is like the closure of half of the clubs next year. Is the widening of the gap of like people like big clubs, small clubs, people who make big money in the scene, and people who make a little money. So it's like the future is like more dystopia. I hope.
So will the club scene develop a class consciousness, or can we just completely throw that out the window?
The thing is like there is like people who already have it, so it's like okay, you have this part of the scene, but there is people that there is no dialogue possible, so they are like part of business technos. They will never develop any class consciousness or whatever, and it's like I don't know. It reminds me of this like one of the 1,000 scandal that happened in techno Twitter, where you had Nina Kravitz wearing cornrows, and she was like, and then she said,
I forgot about this.
Yeah, I didn't know this.
Oh my god! Yeah.
And then she said like I'm Asian, so I can be racist or whatever bullshit. And like,
Yeah. Because
Oh,
she's
God.
like Tatar or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly.
Or Kazakh or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
She's
because,
already
like-
in Russia.
because everything
She's from-
after
she's from,
the Ural is Asia,
Belarus.
right?
She's born in Belarus. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's sweet. Dina Kravitz would like to apologize for doing the Dougie behind her, behind the DJ stand. She's sorry.
I do like just the idea of, first of all, business techno has been said several times.
Yeah.
And I understand what you mean by that,
Yeah.
but I'm just imagining a bunch of like 45 to 55-year-old very fat men wearing like pale blue shirts and like tucked into their trousers,
Yeah.
dancing to beats while like looking at charts.
Oh, that's nice. That's not far from reality because it's like
startup kids.
there's like this record label called Drum Code, and it's only bold white men.
Beautiful.
That's
Yes.
fucking awful.
I found the original music. Also, I went to a party once that was a Psytrance DJ party, and there was a
Nice.
lot of cocaine there, and
Oh.
it was terrible. But
That's
I'm
not
glad
the
to know
usual
there's
of
another.
Psytrance party. More or less,
But
bro.
like, I just
Yeah.
well, they were a different type of Psytrance people.
They were
I
business
have to say,
Psytrance.
I've
Yo,
been
they're a
to
different breed,
I've been to
yo.
a Psytrance festival. It was kind of fun.
No, man, it's I have reasons to hate it. I made out with a cute girl,
Oh,
but she was
nice.
also on cocaine, so I don't know what.
Oh.
Wait, no. So I
Disgusting.
want to address this. I know I have to give up the fact that techno it's a neutral space. It's not like inherently
I'm
left
talking
wing.
bodies and spaces.
It's
over
not.
here.
It's not
Fucking
inherently
get
anything.
outta here,
But I have to
postmodern
say
piece of shit.
exactly what Ciarán's saying. That this is the club. It's a spot that like you just go to hook up. That's why I hated clubs in the U.S. because I was always fucking anxious. I got to pay $20 for a drink and then stand here being like, what do I do?
Motor service club, kind of, right?
I mean, I guess so,
Yeah.
but I feel like most clubs in the U.S. I mean,
Oh,
it's,
like
it's
this,
like
yeah.
a corporate club, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's there to make money. And when I came to
business techno or business EDM in that.
when I went to the non-business techno for the first time, it was the first time I was like, all right, I can actually just chill.
Yeah.
And that was a very beautiful thing for me. I think it can be for other people too.
I'm not going with you.
We're going.
You're coming.
We're all going to Belgium when it's
No.
open again in 2 years.
We're gonna hold you down and vaccinate you. We have
Okay, all right, so,
a
like-
comically large needle we're gonna stick into your butt.
I just you already said it. Half the clubs are going to be closed. I guarantee you, it's going to be all the good ones.
No, Bergen is a cultural institution. They don't even pay tax. It's like a church.
They're like
Church.
church.
They are
We're gonna take you to get baptized, Ciarán.
No,
baptize
in the
you.
giant pool of hand sanitizer.
Oh, God.
piss.
Oh no!
Yeah, exactly what I
I
wanted
think
to
that
say.
I think that's the most common story of everyone who goes to Berghain is that then you're gonna pee
Piss
on
someone.
someone. Yeah.
No,
It
there's
seems
this
rude to
guy.
the
There's this guy who asked
When in
to
Rome,
pee on him.
Yeah.
I saw him
There's-
several
yes,
times.
everyone.
Piss Pig Opa.
Yeah. Oh, you know him? You know him
He's
by
actually
his...
a younger guy.
He's going to be on next week on the show.
He just there's this dude who just hangs out in the bathroom and
Yeah.
just asks you if you
Yeah.
can pee on him. And I bit off a little bit more than I could chew. Let's just be honest.
And on that note, if we have nothing
Yeah,
else,
we got to wrap
That's
this up.
that's a good
Jean, thank you so
conclusion.
much for coming. Is
Oh,
there anything
thank
you
you,
want to
guys.
promote? We'll put the articles you've been writing for Resident Advisor, your Twitter. We'll put all that in the description. Anything else
Thank-
you want to promote?
No, that's it. Just like people try to be safe, do some risk assessment, but there's nothing else to say. We've might be into this pandemic for 3 years because the Spanish flu lasted 3 years. So brace yourself, get into Nintendo Switch, start being a Twitcher or whatever. That's it.
Wise words.
don't start a podcast. It's a fool's
Oh
errand.
yeah, true.
The pool is full.
Always always an
You're chilling in
option.
the hot tub. No more space.
In the words of Fallout Boy, bandwagon's full, catch another.
I don't know this song. I'm a pretty huge Fallout Boy fan, but this one I don't know. Which one is it?
That's thanks for the memories, man. It's a
Oh
classic. It's not-
fuck! No, but
yeah, bandwagon's
this is
full,
too
catch another.
mainstream.
Fuck you, Ciarán. Thinking you're a real Fall Out Boy fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess on that note, if Ciarán just
I'm becoming a soft boy.
I'm becoming a
Doing that.
soft boy. Get your dangling earring.
Thank you very much, Jean, for
Thank you, Nick.
coming on this week. And check him out. We'll have all of his info in the description. And we will see you all next week then.
Bye.
Thank you
Bye.
guys. Bye bye.
Thanks again, John.
Peace.